Okay, who won?
The Broncos. Yeah. At a close scrimmage today. Well, first of all, before we get to that, I hope you guys saw the Lyle Smith video. And he came to practice the other day, and 99th birthday. That was pretty cool to have him out there. And he talked to the team again. He's been coming to the facility and working out every Wednesday. Brandon Pringle works with him, so that was really neat to have him there. Got him a jersey, got him a fedora, and it was a great day. Dylan Lukehart is not going to be out there practicing. He is medically retired. All right, so he will not be. He's helping right now. He's doing some things with us, helping special teams, but won't be out there any longer, and plans on graduating this spring. So we had a scrimmage today, and it went good, kind of like you'd anticipate. Got out there, got warmed up, did a few drills, and then worked some open field, worked some red zone, worked some situational football, and let the guys cut it loose a little bit. So the guys that have played, you see some of those guys that stepped up, and they're elevating their game, and they're playing well. A lot of the new guys, what you want to see is, a little bit of that performance anxiety. Practice is different. Now, can you go out there after you've really been hit a few times? The pace is a little bit faster. The energy is a little bit different. And, can you go out there and still execute those plays? And it was good. There were some good things. There's obviously some bad things that we have to correct. All the quarterbacks, nobody was really head and shoulders above any one of them. They all got equal amount of reps, so we can put that on tape and at least get an idea, of how they perform in game situations. So overall good. That's going to tie into, we come on April 4th. We've got another scrimmage that day, and then April 11th, the spring game. So this should build into that. We'll have a better idea of who can do what. There's going to be more that gets added onto their plate. And then, it's going to start to kind of, wind down a little bit of, what guys can do and maybe some of their roles. We obviously don't define them in spring, but we do get a better idea going into summer of, what these guys are capable of doing at all positions. So today was a good day, and we'll go back and watch this film. Coaches will have plenty to correct. We'll do that tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. And then guys are leaving on spring break. Coaches are leaving on spring break, and then we'll come back Sunday, get back ready to go for the 4th. A week from Sunday, yep.
Anything from Sunday. Anything stand out with the quarterbacks through the first 6 practices?
Yeah, they're all getting better. Obviously, anytime you have a guy like Grant, or you had a guy like Joe, or you had a guy like Kellen, or a guy like Jared, you lose a good player at that position. You hope you could pick right back up. Well, Grant wasn't there this time last spring. It takes time. So, we're all competitive, and we all want to see it right now, but they're progressing well. They're getting better at the little things they need to get better at. And there's a lot thrown at them. We're still trying to run our offense and still trying to put it in and not slow guys down. So they're all handling it well. They have their ups and downs each day, but to me, it's all about how they can recover, from when it gets dipped, when it goes down. How fast can they recover? And these guys have all done a good job. So when things have been good, they've been good. When things have been bad, they've been better. And that's really what we're looking for.
How you kind of handling the first team reps right now?
They actually all got them. Okay. Every single one of them took blue reps, and Finley took the first blue reps. We started with our orange in the scrimmage because our orange and white, the 2s and 3s, are kind of the same, so we got to get a break in between. But they did good. Finley went with the orange, Stewart went with the blues, Rip went with the blues, Ogle had a drive in the red zone with the blues. They all had a chance to do that, and each guy did a good job. Each guy had their issues, like everybody else, and it's kind of who you're working with as well.
First couple of weeks, any guys that caught your eye, made big strides this spring?
Jabril Frazier's a guy, as a young guy, and I'm not talking about the guys that have played. All those guys have done well. I think Dante has come out every practice, and he continues to improve and play better and find ways, as a good player to get better. Darian Thompson's the same way. It's good to have Ben Weaver out there, I will say that. Ben wasn't out last spring. Ben's always kind of been hurt during this time, and he even feels it. He knows that being out there is extremely important. He's a guy that's really showed up. He showed up today in the scrimmage. Jabril Frazier's one of the young guys that, you look at a guy that didn't really do anything at all last fall. He's out there banging around and big, tall guy that can move, and he's figuring it out. So we feel like, he's going to be a guy that can help us once we get into fall. All the other young guys, they've all done well. Young O-line, young running backs, they're all improving and getting better. There's a lot on their plate. Spring break comes right about the right time for us, where they can kind of decompress, take a little bit of extra time to study, and then know what to expect the remaining practices, as we finish up spring.
The offensive guys say the offense has been doing well. The defensive guys say the defense has been doing well. So who's right? Who's been getting the better of the first 6 practices?
Special teams. Yeah, we've all gotten better. Rasa was good today too. It was good to get him out there and do some live reps at field goal. Our field goal block team did a good job. Our field goal team did a good job. Both sides have gotten better. One day it's the defense has a better practice, the next day the offense steps up, and it keeps going back and forth, and that's a little bit of what spring's all about. Today it was kind of that way. The offense came out, early, had a couple good drives, and the defense, stepped up there towards the second half of the scrimmage and played really well. So both sides are doing their jobs, not to where it needs to be, but they are working on doing their jobs better. They're focused on that, and so you see that, through the reps in practice.
You have talked about mechanics for Rhett Rippon. Did you see some development in that today as he took long reps?
Yeah, I did. He's gotten better. And really for all the quarterbacks, and it's not just him in particular, every guy's got one or two things. They all start off with 5, and you work on 1, and we're down to 1 or 2 things right now. And I'm not talking about even the game or experience and all that, just fundamentally playing the position. And he showed today, some new habits that he's improved on. There's some old habits that come out. Everybody's got those. That takes time. The goal for every position, and quarterback in particular, is to come out of spring, know the fundamentals and how to work on them, how to coach yourself on them, because you have the entire summer to really work on those 2 or 3 things. And if we can get that done with the quarterbacks fundamentally coming out of spring ball, they're going to work on it in the summer, and then come fall camp, they'll be different players from that standpoint, and they'll be better. And we don't have to work on those same things now. It's going to be more directed towards, the knowledge, the execution, the decision making, of just the offense.
You got Chaz at wide receiver this spring for the first time.
Yeah.
What's this spring do for him in terms of being able to develop his game and maybe become a more well-rounded guy out there?
Well, coming off last season, Chaz got confidence, from the bowl game. It's good because he's a guy out there that can run. He can make plays. He had made plays this last season for us. So his game has gotten better, and I think having this entire time and really working that one position, you see him improving. You see him kind of developing his craft to fit him a little bit better. He's playing his game. He's using his speed at times to create separation on comeback routes. He's using his speed to transition from a little bit slower to faster to go attack a guy. So he's developing his game, and that's really what spring's about. He's kind of finding out, some different ways to manipulate a route and how he can do that to make him better. So Troy, Shane, Thomas, Chaz, all those guys, they've all improved, and you can see them out there kind of, all right, what can I do now to kind of make my game a little bit better? And they're working on it, and sometimes it shows up good and it's the right answer, sometimes it's not. It's too much, and we got to go back to just the basics, but that's what this is about.
Doing some on Charles Bertoli, and a guy came in as a walk-on. Now I guess he's kind of one of your leaders around here. Mm-hmm. He's fought for a role, and now he's got a chance to maybe get involved at running back. What does he bring to this team and to that position for you guys?
Well, like you said, I think he's one of our leaders. You look at him in the classroom, you look at him in the weight room, off the field, his demeanor around the guys in the locker room. Here's a guy that does things the right way. Now it's going to translate onto the field as well. Big special teams player for us. With Jay being gone and that running back position opened up, he's gotten more opportunities. He's a smart guy, tough guy. So, what he carries the ball, hey, that's really on them. That's why guys are brought in here that's part of their abilities. Now the protections, knowing the game, what to do in the routes and all those things, he brings some experience from that standpoint. So been happy with where he's at, like what he's done. That group, that running back group, we're a long ways away, in the summertime and the fall camp, because there's a lot of new faces out there, and we're doing some different things too. So they're learning some new things along the way. And then Coach Mark's new position coach in there, there's a different way of teaching it. So those guys have time. We obviously need to get that dialed in as we get closer to game time, but they've got time. And that group, that committee, however that works out or what we decide to do when it's all said and done, he's going to be a part of that.
Curious to see what you thought of Pro Day yesterday, and also how nice it was to see Matt back in action.
Yeah, well, I thought Pro Day was very good. It's an exciting day for those guys, kind of a sad day as a coach, because you see all those good players out there. To see Matt running around on a 6-month injury after 5 months, that's pretty good. I thought Bo Martin, to get an opportunity to work, did a great job out there. Obviously Jay, he looked fantastic. He already did most of his stuff at the combine, but the running back work. The thing I was really impressed with all of our guys, those scouts are working them out and doing different things. They were asking, what specifically do you want? And so they did the drill exactly how they wanted it. And that's smart. It's smart those guys ask those questions. I was impressed with all of them. Clee ran well. Bryan ran well. Connor, obviously working the tight end position. He's a big old guy that, he's a guy that can put his hand in the ground and go mash people. And they have Blake out there trying something a little bit different, playing fullback like Corey Hall did, Brian Johnson did. All those guys, I think, did a very good job. And I thought the way it was ran and directed, by the scouts and all the teams that were out there was done very well.
Do something next week on Jonathan Moxy, and he kind of, I think quietly ended up starting 13 games last year and learning on the job a little bit out there. How did you see him grow through the season, and what do you see from him now this spring with that experience behind him?
Like you said, learning on the job. Having we had Bryan out there, you had Dante out there, Moxy, got himself into the mix and then was starting those games. I think the one thing, for where he is now from where he was, obviously experience has helped and all that, but playing in some of those games and those big games and being a key contributor, there's confidence, and especially at that position. I mean, of all positions, you're getting shots taken at you all the time, and you got to have that confidence. So I see that out in practice. He's prepared. I've sat in meetings with Coach Brown. I've watched him get on the board, and and he's done, and it's right, and it's detailed. So he understands what he's supposed to do. It's showing up on the field, and he's been working hard. And then probably, for a skill player at that position, that I've been most impressed is his work in the weight room. He's done a great job there. He's gotten stronger, gotten faster. And that's all going to translate into him being a better player. So he's, his experience and I think what he knows that he's going to get into this next season is driving him and pushing him. And when Darian's gone and Dante's gone, he's going to be one of the guys now that is going to be, in that role, that leadership role right away.
You've been dropping hints for a while, so what's going on with Kellen and April 11th?
Be there. Be there. Yeah, I'm sure Kellen will be there as well. April 11th, obviously the spring game, there's a B day. There's a lot going on that day. We're going to have some special guests in that day as well. So, and number 11's going to be rolling around the building. So it's obviously, something that we want to have as many people, Bronco Nation filling up that stadium. It's going to be a great day. And it's an opportunity, one, to see this 2015 football team go out there and to have people in the stands and to watch them operate, but really see our team and kind of see what we have and what we're going into summer with. And then to have some special guests there around, and Kellen being one of them in particular.
In general, what is your take on retiring numbers? I know over the years here it's been sort of frowned upon, but what's your take on that in general?
Well, my take on it, I really don't have the exact answer on retiring numbers. Recognizing numbers, recognizing people for what they did, recognizing somebody that's done something that nobody else has ever done. I'm all about that, and Kellen's definitely one of those guys that have done that.
So when you send these guys out on spring break, what's the message for them?
Come back, be smart. I mean, it's really, anytime, and coaches included, we obviously know where everybody's going. We know when they leave, they text us. When they get there, they text us. We're always in constant communication. I want guys to have fun. I want them to take a break from school, take a break from football, and just get away. Everybody needs that. They need time to just decompress, take a deep breath, and just go do whatever they want to do for themselves. But do it the right way. Understand, situations that you could potentially get yourself in, and be smart. And have everybody back on Sunday and ready to go back to work and finish out spring. And that's what it's all about. Being here at Boise State, being a student athlete and talking for our guys in particular, that's the most important thing. And so you don't want to ever do anything to jeopardize that. And our guys understand that. So we fully expect them to go have fun, enjoy themselves, be refreshed and excited to come back and finish out spring with great energy and have great effort, and then we get better.
Finally, any thoughts on the basketball game last night?
I watched it. One, really proud of our team and Coach Rice. I thought those guys had a tremendous year, and was pulling for them all year long. And that's a tough game. They're obviously playing a very good team. I wouldn't make any excuses for the environment. That's not what we do, and that's not what they're about. They played a tough team and really came down to finishing. And unfortunately it just didn't go our way. But those guys played extremely hard, and this season has been successful. And excited about those guys going out recruiting now after you lose these players, bringing new guys in, and what we've been able to accomplish in the Mountain West. Well, let's hopefully we can keep doing that.